Cyberpunk 2077 is finally here, and I've been one of the lucky people to be able to experience this world on a PlayStation 5. So yes, I've been experiencing it on a new gen console, and I haven't been experiencing most of the bugs people have been talking about on social media when you play the game on an Xbox One or a PS4. So in this video, I'm going to bring you guys all my first impressions so far of everything I've liked and everything I haven't about my adventure in Night City this far. Let's do it. First positive that I have to mention is Night City's design. CD Projekt Red absolutely nailed the design of Night City. This city is beautiful, dude, and it's absolutely massive. Like, it definitely makes you feel tiny in this city. The architecture of the buildings, the skyscrapers, the lights, the advertisements, the overall aesthetic, it's all here in Night City's design. Overall is almost flawless in my opinion. Like, it's so easy to get lost in it, man. And especially like when you're just walking around, there's so many like little nooks and crannies, little alleyways that you can sneak into, different ways that you could sneak into buildings. And I'm excited to unlock like the double jump, because that's something that you can lock through the Ripper Dock, and I'm excited to unlock that because I'm really looking forward to actually going on top of the buildings and seeing the overall verticality of Night City. Because keep in mind, I'm low level right now. I don't really have a lot of abilities unlocked, and I've only been exploring the city through driving or just walking around and what's available to me like on the ground. But in terms of going on second floors and going on rooftops, I'm really looking forward to that going forward in my adventure in Night City. Another thing that I really like about the game so far has been the storytelling. Now, aside from the world feeling very well designed and just, overall selling the look of Night City, another thing that sells the overall feel of this world and the overall genre of the cyberpunk in this game is just the voice acting and the storytelling. Because so far, I'm like in the middle of Act 2 right now, and I'm not going to spoil anything in this video of the story, but so far, the voice acting has been really, really well done. It's really immersed me, in the game. And another thing that I really noticed is that CDPR's attention to detail when you're actually having conversations with the stories and with the character NPCs, it's very well done. It's very, very immersive, and overall the storytelling has been great, and the pacing right now is definitely picked up. Because I have to be honest, at the beginning of the game, personally, I thought I wasn't gonna really like it. I had some shortcomings in the beginning, but as of right now, where I'm at right now in the story, it's definitely been a great adventure. Character customization is also something that I feel has been really well done in Cyberpunk 2077. I have to be honest, in the beginning of the game I had some issues with the character creator, but I'll talk about that in a second. But the customization overall, once you're actually in Night City and once you're actually able to explore and find different clothes and different items to customize your look, I think it's really well done. As of right now, even though I'm really low level, I still love the way my V looks, and I love the clothes that I've found for him so far. Now, with all that being said, I want to get into the negative things that I've encountered with Cyberpunk so far. Starting off with the overall density of Night City. Now, as beautiful as the world is, and as much as I love the design and I love how easy it is to just get lost in the look and the overall feel of the city, the density of the world is missing. I mean, there's certain areas where I've been lucky enough where the game decides to spawn a bunch of NPCs and the world really feels alive, but I come to discover that you can't even talk to any of the NPCs. You might find a lot of areas where there's street vendors and there's just people walking around and there's groups of people having conversations, or there's police officers arresting people, or there's people in a shootout. And I mean, obviously in a shootout you can't talk to people, but in these other situations where you expect to be able to talk to the NPCs, you can't. And that was definitely something that really disappointed me, because how are you going to give me so many NPCs and so many people to look at and so many, dialogue possibilities, and I can't even interact with any of them? That just takes away some of the density of the world. That makes the world feel a little bit dead, in my opinion, in certain areas of Night City. Apart from not even being able to talk to any of the NPCs and maybe being able to branch out the story a little bit or just have general conversation, when you actually able to encounter a street vendor or a weapons dealer, you can't even see an animation for what you're buying. When V buys food or when he buys any type of consumable, you don't actually see an animation of him eating the food or drinking the drink or whatever it is. It's just two menus that pop up, and you could actually either add it to your inventory or just consume it right there. And I thought that was really disappointing, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, in a game where everything is so well designed and everything looks really pretty, I mean, when I go up to a vendor and I buy food, don't just show me menus. I mean, let me be actually able to have a conversation with the food vendor. Maybe he can tell me about what he's seen around the world. Maybe he can point me to another job. It just feels like they've kind of missed it's like a missed opportunity there with the NPCs and with the vendors, because you can't talk to them. You can't even see an animation for when you're buying stuff. It just makes the world feel a little bland, in my opinion. Another big negative about this game so far has been the gunplay. Now I know CDPR made it very clear from the beginning when they were starting to be transparent with developer interviews that Cyberpunk is an RPG first and it's not a first person shooter, and I knew that and I respected that, and I obviously wasn't expecting a Call of Duty like experience from the shooting and the gunplay in this game, but it almost feels like the weapons in this game are uncontrollable. I don't know if it's that they have too much idle sway or too much recoil or if they're just broken, but it feels like it's just really almost uncontrollable at some moments, and it's a shame because when you're in these like really hype moments and really adrenaline filled moments of just being in a shootout with NPCs or with the NCPD or whatever the case may be, it's really a shame when you pull out your weapon and it just doesn't feel as clean and as tight as it should feel in an RPG and in an open world as beautifully designed as Night City. Another negative thing that I want to talk about before I end the video is the driving. Now I have to be honest, with the hotfix that was recently released for PlayStation users and PC users primarily, I do feel like it fixed some of the driving, or maybe it's because recently in the story I unlocked a bike, but at least with the car, the driving feels very unpredictable, at least in my experience. Sometimes it feels like the cars are weightless, sometimes it feels like they're just too heavy, and overall it's unpredictable. But recently, like I mentioned with the hotfix, it does feel like it fixed driving a little bit, at least on a bike in my experience. But these have been my first impressions of Cyberpunk 2077 as someone who's been lucky enough to play it on a PS5. And with that being said, I have to be honest, look, if you're on last gen, do not get this game, man. CDPR definitely took a huge shit on their reputation with the release of this game because they did not optimize it at all for those last gen systems. And if the rumors are true that they never even sent out a review codes for those systems and they tried to hide the fact that they run like shit on last gen, that's really bad for their reputation, man, because this game, was initially intended for the Xbox One and PS4. So unless you're on the top 3 right now, unless you're on PS5, Series X, or a high-end PC, I highly suggest you wait on this game because CDPR needs to really optimize it with all the updates that they need to do to this game to get it to run properly on those systems. But the good news is that CDPR is dedicated to actually fixing the game, and they've already been rolling out updates. Well, not updates, but they've already rolled out one hotfix that has done pretty substantial change in my opinion, at least in my experience. But with all that being said, these have been my first impressions. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. If you like this Cyberpunk content, let me know about it, please, because I've actually been thinking about continuing the Cyberpunk content here on the channel. This was a game that I was insanely excited for, so making content on it is honestly fun for me. But with all that being said, thank you so much to all of you for watching. You already know what to do, man. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, then don't. Make sure to subscribe and hit the post notifications button if you actually want to get notified every time I upload. But thank you so much to everyone for watching. My name's Nico, and I'll see all of you in the next one.